Welcome to the Wear Wag Repeat podcast. I'm Tori Mystic, here with my dogs Lucy and Bert. Together, we're interviewing cool, creative women entrepreneurs in the pet industry. Do you dream of working alongside your dog? Then sit, stay, and listen to the latest episode to find the inspiration and resources that will help you grow your own dog-inspired business. Today, I'm bringing you a very special Valentine's Day inspired episode. While today's guest has accomplished some things that I usually cover on this show, such as publishing a book and getting national publicity, the reason why I wanted to talk to her, especially this week, is because she's one of the kindest and most selfless people I've ever met. I hope that her story inspires you to share love and joy with everyone you interact with. As women in the pet industry, we're an extra compassionate group, and we can use our influence to make other people's and pets' lives better. Before we get into the interview, I want to remind you that this February, I'm asking you to share how much you love this podcast by leaving a review in Apple Podcasts. At the end of the month, I'll pick one reviewer to win a $50 gift card to the Wear Wag Repeat Shop. To leave a review, just open the podcast app on your iPhone. It's a purple icon. Search for Wear Wag Repeat. Click on the photo of me and Lucy, then scroll down towards the bottom where you'll find reviews. I promise it really only takes a few minutes. I will love you for it, and you could win a fabulous prize. All right, now on to this extra special interview. When a doctor told Lilly Smartelli lung disease would cut her life short, she realized she may never have the big Italian wedding she always dreamed about. While she traveled, worked as a nurse, and even donated a kidney to a friend, she never really found the man of her dreams. Then she realized the man of her dreams wasn't actually a man at all. Her faithful companion, Bernie, the rescue dog, was the only guy she knew who she could always count on and who loved her unconditionally. She started dreaming up fanciful wedding scenarios where Bernie stood in for the groom. Her imaginative wedding visions inspired The $5 Dog Wedding, a heartwarming book about life, love, and true friendship. Her story and wedding plans with Bernie were recently featured in the New York Times, and she has a special Valentine's Day celebration planned for this year. Hi, Lilly.
Hi.
I'm so excited to have you on, and this is very timely because this episode comes out the day before Valentine's Day, so it's all about love, and as we have both found, dog love is the best kind.
Yes, definitely.
So last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, I guess now, your story was featured in the New York Times in actually a really long, detailed, awesome article that told your whole story. And it was such a wonderful story that my dad actually emailed it to me because we were just recently invited, my dogs and I were invited to a dog wedding. And I was telling my dad about it. And then he saw your article pop up and he is like, oh my God, dog weddings are everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
And I think it caught his eye, or at least when he forwarded it to me, the first couple of lines caught my eye because it said that you had envisioned a big Italian wedding for yourself, as you were a child. And coming from an Italian family, I can totally relate to that. There's a certain vision that you expect to get out of your life.
And yes, and being an Italian daughter of an Italian immigrant, you expect the big Italian wedding, the traditional. with the tarantella and all the food and dancing and laughing. And that's so cute that your dad saw that, though, because, my dad has passed away, but he was an Italian immigrant. And if I just keep thinking if he was here, he'd probably be laughing his head off at all of this stuff. Hopefully not crying.
No, I think he would be very proud of you because I'm proud to even be talking to you because you've taken sort of a difficult situation, which is this diagnosis that you have, and you've found, the light and the love and the humor in everything and turned it around completely into being something that, not necessarily, benefits you by having this celebration with Bernie, but also you're doing amazing work raising awareness and funds for other causes too.
First of all, when you get a diagnosis like that, and I'm 55, well, one of the first things you think of, at least for me, was, oh my gosh, what haven't I done in my life that I really, really want to? And I feel very fortunate that I've been able to do a lot of things that I've wanted to do. And I thought the only thing I really never did was I never got married and I never had my big Italian wedding. And you want to know all the little details of this? Because it's kind of
Yes.
funny.
Yes, go
Um,
on.
so, okay, so I just thought, well, how am I supposed to have this? It's just me by myself. I don't have I'm not involved with anybody. Now I have this diagnosis, so no one's going to want to be involved with me. And so I was living on a boat in California with my dogs very happily when I started getting sick. And so I had to sell the boat and move to land where it's more economical in
Hmm.
Arizona than California. So we moved here. And then this is where they gave me my exact diagnosis. And so I got that. And then it was around the same time that I had to find a new groomer in Arizona. And I went to the groomers and I kind of was like upset about everything. So I kind of blurted, hi, I'm new here. I just moved, blah, 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 from California. And, I needed a new groomer and I got some bad news. And then we just kind of chit chatted. And I said, maybe I should just marry my dog. I said, this is Bernie. I have Bernie and Spinner, but Bernie and I are like madly in love, and he's my soulmate. So Spinner loves Bernie, and Bernie loves me. That's kind of like the hierarchy here. And and so they took the dogs they took the dogs in the back to groom, and then when I came back, they had they went to the store and they bought a little blue sequins bow tie and a wedding ring and an engagement ring, and they tied it around Bernie's neck with a little sign that said "Marry Me." And I went in to get the dogs, and first Spinner came out, and oh, how cute you look. And they said, okay, Bernie's coming out now. Bernie ran out to me with this bow tie and the rings and the sign that says "Marry Me." And everyone starts clapping and crying, kind of. And
Yeah,
I started to cry.
I'm
I was
crying
like, oh
listening to
my
this.
gosh, it was just unbelievable. I mean, I couldn't believe that people actually did that for me. I'm usually the giver person and the person that always thinks about nice things for people. And I was just like so overwhelmed that somebody like really, I don't even know the words to say. I'm going to cry again. That,
Yeah. Well, I think like
it's,
you've been a nurse for many years, so
yeah,
you've been like caring for other people. So it's probably not that common that the tables get turned on you.
no, I mean, hardly ever, 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 ever. And so, I mean, it was just so, so nice. And so it kind of got me thinking, well, gosh, maybe I should marry Bernie. Maybe we could do that. And I could have my little wedding. So this is where it got kind of like funny, interesting. I Googled hotels that had weddings that allowed dogs in the area. And I called this really nice one and I spoke with the event planner and I told him what I wanted to do. And he said, well, how many guests will you have? And I said, well, I don't have any guests. So
Oh,
I was hoping you guys could provide the guests. Like,
oh my
and he said,
gosh.
we don't provide guests for weddings. And I said, well, what if it was like a dinner theater, Italian wedding fundraiser?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have people that, like to go to fundraisers for good causes? Um, because where I live in Arizona, there's a lot of snowbirds that come here,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of these snowbirds have two or three houses, and they come here and they like to go to those galas and fundraisers. But he said no,
Oh,
we don't have a list of people we could call. So I just couldn't figure out a way to make my little wedding really. And so that's why I wrote the book then. And um, I just wrote the book. It was just going to be like a little book, kind of cathartic for me. And yeah, all of a sudden it's in the New York Times as a
It's
feature in
amazing.
the
I
wedding
mean,
section.
when I read the story in the New York Times, and if anyone wants to read the article, I'll have the link on my website too. If you want to go to wearwagrepeat.com, it's all on there. But when I read the article, I was like, book me a ticket to Arizona because I'm going to throw Lily a party.
Oh, yeah, thanks. That's so nice.
And yeah, I wish I had had more time because I like, I wish I could have planned something, some kind of party for you because I'm sure we could get people to come out for something. Um,
Oh,
but so what you have decided to do instead is like a virtual celebration. So tell us exactly how that's working out.
so actually, it's not.
Oh,
So, this all happened so fast I didn't expect this to ever, really, it was just kind of a book. And then the New
right.
York Times got involved. And then it became like a big, like Valentine's Day thing. But
So wait a
in my,
second. Let's rewind for a second. So how did the New York Times, how did that come to be?
so I Googled people who write press releases for my book. And I found this one lady, and she happens to be, she used to be a newscaster, and she writes press releases now, and she has a small public relations firm. And so I asked her if she would write a press release, and so she did. And then she said, now it's up to you to distribute it because she said, I really don't think you can afford my services to go beyond this.
Right.
And so I said, okay, well, I'll figure it out. I figured out how to publish a book. I can figure this out probably. And, but then the next day she called and she said, I love your story so much. And she said, I'm going to give you a Christmas present. And she said, I forwarded your story to the editor of the wedding section at the New York Times, and they want to speak with you within 15 minutes. They said they love your story so much that they wanted to have an exclusive, and they wanted to be the ones to write about it. And so she was just like, you don't seem very excited. And I said, well, I am, but I don't know. She said, do you know how big the New York Times wedding section is?
Oh my God.
I
Yeah,
said,
it's like a Bible for some people.
well, yeah, basically that's what I've learned now. And I said, well, no, because I don't read the wedding sections. It's not very fun for me. so anyway, so I've learned now that it's a big deal. And then to be featured, like in the vows section, that's like kind of huge. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so that's how it kind of came to be.
So one of
To
my
get,
favorite things through like there's actually like there's one like little intro kind of article that I found online. And then there's the big one. And if you don't mind, I want to read out the sample wedding announcement that they
oh,
wrote
I have to
because
tell you, the writer was having so much fun.
this
And
is
he
the most
said,
fun thing I've ever seen. I love it.
yeah, he said, he said, I just was, working on your article, and I said, I wonder what it would sound like if this was an announcement in the New York, like a New York Times announcement. And so he just started writing things, and he said that he told his publisher, his editor, and he said, I don't know if they're going to let me do it or not. I'm going to try really hard, because I was laughing my head off. And then it came to be that they just loved his story so much that I guess on page A2, where that second article was, is like, he said the editors kind of get together and they say, what's the most interesting article we have in the paper today? And the most interesting backstory. And he got chosen for my story. And so they let him put the announcement in on page A2 in his backstory, which is really amusing. But yeah, so go ahead. I was just like cracking up.
Okay, well here it is. This is just like the most delightful. Just this two paragraphs alone, I think, create so much light and joy in the world. So here we go. Lily and Bernie were married on Valentine's Day at St. Bernard Church in New York. The Reverend Jack Russell, one of man's best friends, officiated. Mrs. Bernie, 55, who was radiant in a bone white gown, and Mr. Bernie, 54 in dog years, was flealess in a rhinestoned collar, exchanged pupshuels before a litter of family and friends. The bride, who graduated from Wayne State University in Detroit, was a travel nurse. The groom, who graduated from obedience school, works from home, keeping the yard free of squirrels. The couple met in Palm Springs, California in October 2011 during a county fair adoption for shelter dogs. He couldn't keep his paws off me, the bride joked. Like, that's just the most delightful thing I've ever read.
It was very clever of him, very, very creative.
I just love it. Sorry to interrupt the interview, but I would love to see what you're doing while you catch up with the Wear Wag Repeat podcast. Take a screenshot of this episode in your podcast player or snap a selfie with your earbuds in. Bonus points if it's on a dog walk, and share it to your Instagram stories, tagging me at @tmystic. I'll keep an eye out for mentions, and I would love to give you a shout out from my own account. Okay, now back to the episode. So how has being featured in the New York Times impacted you? Obviously, I reached out to you. I said I have to talk to you on my podcast, especially with Valentine's Day coming up and everything else. Have you heard of from other people coming out of the woodwork about this?
Yeah, some people have called and asked if they could do some interviews, and a lot of people, I'm really surprised, have contacted me through the website to ask how they could, contribute. And I'm personally not taking any donations for myself, because that's not what this was supposed to be about.
Right.
But I am directing people to my causes, which are Donate Life America, or to any of their local shelters, dog shelters. I have an agreement with Donate Life America that they get a certain percentage of my book, and then I also have a percentage set aside for dog shelters that are non-funded. And on my website, there's an application, just a short application for any dog shelter who has a need for finances. And, I'm hoping that I sell a lot of books or anything in my little store so that I'll have money to share with dog shelters that, don't get funded by bigger businesses or corporations. Yeah. So,
wonderful. So if someone wants to buy the book, or you have a great shop stocked full of like really cute t-shirts and tote bags and things like that, all at the $5dogwedding.com. And then the book's also on Amazon too.
Yes. Yeah. And I just learned how to make it in soft cover as well, because I didn't realize a lot of people didn't read ebooks that were contacting me. So it's in soft cover too. But yeah, a lot of people have been, I just can't believe how generous everybody is, just contacting me, wanting to be a part of it and donate to medical or donate to the wedding. It helps me stay hopeful. Like the whole book thing kind of like helped me stay hopeful. And then the New York Times just really makes it kind of look more lighthearted to go through what I'm going through, especially because I go through it alone. There is, as of right now, nobody has come forward to give me a Valentine's wedding. It was in my book. I wrote about these like fantasy weddings, that I could possibly create that would also bring honor and awareness to my causes, and then plus give me a wedding. And they're just like fictitious and funny, but there's a Las Vegas drive-through wedding, and there's a morning show wedding with a Broadway flash mob doing the Italian, wedding dance, and then there's afternoon talk show one where there's Italian cooks, and the audience is like, for example, my favorite wedding scenario was where the audience is filled with people who have donated organs or who own or run dog shelters that again are like non-funded ones,
right?
And so the audience members don't know that that's why they were invited to this talk show. And then there's this fun little dog wedding, very Italian. And we teach the audience how to do the tarantella and the chicken dance. And, there's like just a lot of laughter and stuff. And then the audience finds out that they were invited there to receive all the wedding presents that the bride would normally get in a, Italian wedding. There's lots of presents and gifts. And so since this bride, fictitious bride, me, doesn't need to get all these gifts at this time in her life now, they're all shared with the audience. And then the audience gets introduced for being, amazing people who have given of themselves and never asked for anything in return or could get anything in return, really. So they get, they everybody like cheers and cries and celebrates. Those are the kind of weddings I put in my book.
Oh my gosh, Lilly, that needs to be an episode of the Ellen Show. And I'm going to forward this interview to Ellen.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
I mean, that would be such a great fit because she really cares about animals and just sharing kind things that people do for one another. So that would be like the perfect fit for this.
Yeah, and that would be a dream come true because she has such a worldwide reach that could really help increase the numbers of people who register to be organ donors or who understand the magnitude of the problem that we have with so many, dogs in the shelters. Like writing this book, I didn't realize that in the United States alone, there were different numbers, but they were all between 6 million and 9 million dogs in shelters in the United States today.
Oh my gosh, wow.
And that's very upsetting to me. And it would really take somebody like Ellen, for example, to bring awareness. And I thought, like with my book, that it could help bring awareness in a more entertaining, memorable way than just reading facts or, like, oh yeah, there's 6 to 9 million dogs. And then people don't talk about it. Or, there's only 54% of the people in the United States that are registered organ donors, but then it's just a number. So I thought that like with my book story originally, that it would be a cute way, it would be a fun way that people will, talk about it at the water cooler. And then the New York Times article came out and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope everybody is talking about, the severity that of animals, the dogs in the shelters and people who need to register as organ donors if they would.
Yeah, right. It's such a like coincidence what you're doing because years ago, like over 10 years ago, I used to work at an ad agency here in Pittsburgh, and one of our clients was the Donate Life Pennsylvania campaign.
Oh my God.
And so I actually know more about organ donation than I should.
Oh, wow.
Because I used to do a lot of marketing for them and we did a lot of events and a lot of awareness campaigns and social media and all sorts of stuff for them. Like over 10 years ago, I worked on that. So that's a very important message as well. There's no reason not to designate yourself as an organ donor.
Yeah, it's just, and you know what, and you don't have to be a live donor like I am, but I will say that being a live donor, so far, it's been the most exciting thing of my life because, you leave a legacy, first of all, and just knowing that somebody is alive because, you gifted of yourself, it's just, it makes me smile all the time.
It's so selfless and you're such a wonderful person for all that you do.
Well, thank you. I never really think of it like that, Well,
and that's what makes you so amazing because, you're not in it for the fame.
No, I just want to share, I really just want to share the statistics with people and have them, help us end these two causes that, there's certain things in our power in today's day that we don't have any control over, but there's certain things that we do. And registering to be an organ donor is totally in our control. And getting your dog spayed and neutered or
Hmm.
adopting a dog from the shelter. It's all in our control, and it just makes you feel so good to be able to participate in something like that. I hope everybody really thinks about it.
And I think that this audience that we have right now is very receptive because I just have found that people in the dog community and dog moms in particular is just such a compassionate group of people. And from what I have found, we all love to support what each other is doing.
Yes, that seems to be very true. Maybe we should all get together and have a giant wedding in Central Park. Like
Yes.
we could all have dog wedding. We could all marry our own dogs.
Yes, a group dog wedding. I think that would be amazing.
That would be very fun. But it would have to be Italian. We have to have Italian food, pizza. I have to tell you, can I
Well,
plug
all the
somebody
dogs would be
from?
very happy about that because dogs love pizza too.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes. Can I plug somebody from
Yes.
Lions, Tigers, and Squares Pizza in Chelsea? Oh my gosh, they don't even know me, but they have promoted my book and they have contacted all these talk shows themselves also. And they send me the nicest little messages on Instagram,
Oh my
you
gosh.
know, constantly. They're like, we're trying to help you, have your wedding. We're trying to get the word out for your causes, and no luck yet, but hang in there. We have more ideas. um, but
Yeah,
they
I
have
mean,
been, I
between
don't even know
everybody,
them.
yeah, between everyone's efforts together, we're gonna have a party one day. But in
Yeah.
lieu of that, tomorrow, this episode comes out on Wednesday, so tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So if people would like to sort of virtually celebrate with you, they can go to your website and they can find ways to support Donate Life America or information about supporting their local shelters, right?
Yeah. And people who want to contribute to me, if you just buy something from my store, that will help me with my medical bills. And that will be a huge contribution to me. And then, just
Wonderful.
support the other causes and go do something nice for yourself and somebody else that, today for Valentine's Day. Buy a
Yeah.
flower for somebody else and make somebody else smile. And that would make me happy thinking that people are doing nice things for other people.
Absolutely. Well, we had a tragic shooting in Pittsburgh in the fall. And after that, I organized a get together. I just invited every dog in Pittsburgh who loves to cuddle to meet. To
Oh,
meet at one of our local parks, and we probably had over 50 dogs come, and their owners
oh, wow.
some people who didn't have dogs found out about it and just came just to be around dogs because
Oh
dogs
my
I just
God.
think are such loving pure creatures that was what I felt like I could do to lift everyone's spirits or just help people heal a little bit through the process. And so that was a very tragic situation, but for Valentine's Day, there's a lot of people out there who just petting a dog does make you feel better. So if it's even just taking your dog out to meet some people who don't have someone on Valentine's Day, I think that makes a difference too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The power of, I just call it the power of puppies a
Yes.
lot. Yeah, it's just unexplainable, actually. They don't even realize, what they do for people. And it's so touching. They're not selfish about it or anything. They'll just give as much love as you need.
Yeah. So I guess for Valentine's Day, it's all about puppy love,
Yeah,
however
puppy love.
however you can get it.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Well, Lily, it was
Awesome.
it was so awesome. I really enjoyed talking to you so much, and I hope everyone who's listening enjoyed this and you're inspired to share some more love and kindness in the world.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Tori. This is my first time doing this, so I hope I didn't ramble too much.
No, you
But
were perfect. And if anyone
yeah,
wants to connect with you, what's your Instagram account?
it's the $5 Dog Wedding on Instagram, and then the $5 dogwedding.com. You can write to me do the contact form for the $5 dogletting@gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you for listening to the Wear Wag Repeat podcast. You can fetch show notes at wearwagrepeat.com. If you like what you hear, please hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And until next time, we'll see you around the dog park.